What is going on, guys? Trying something a little different. Let me know what you guys think. Trying something a little different. So, this is this week in football or this week in sports, right? So we got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. I didn't think when I started the series, I didn't think it was going to be this much to talk about in the offseason. So we're gonna get into all the Kansas City stuff. That's probably gonna be a section in itself. So let's jump right into it. So Kansas City, I tagged this Kansas City and cap hell because there's no reason you trade Joe Thuney to the Bears if you're not in somewhat of a cap hell type of situation. And I saw a video recently that they was hoping that Mr. Kelsey will retire so they can get that $17 million back. He's coming back, so now they got to work with what they got. They got Patrick Mahomes, so that'll be good either way. But that's just something to think about. Didn't play well in the Super Bowl. Travis Kelsey didn't play well in the season as a whole, anyway. So it's something to look at, something to like be leery about and see what is their go-to next. What are you going to do? That's a really good organization over there. So I assume that they're going to get it done. And I reiterate, when you got Pat Mahomes, you'll be okay. You just got to kind of put some stuff around him, right? So they re-signed Nick Bowden. They re-signed Hollywood Brown. So not much on their front to like really move and shake anything. But I think the biggest thing is they traded Joe Thuney to the Bears. And the Bears actually get a lineman that knows what he's doing. Like, that was the big thing, and hindsight is 2020. So that was one of the biggest things with the Bears is that we thought they would be better offensively. We did not account for that their offensive line was going to be terrible. I don't think none of us really accounted for that because we didn't expect them to be that terrible. I wish I had their offensive line rank written down. It'll be in the video, but I'm sure they're bottom 30, and there's only 32 teams. I'm sure they was bottom of the barrel in offensive line rank. Down there with the Texans. So, like, I don't know. This bodes well for the Bears, though. They get a bookend. They get somebody. They get a cornerstone. He's a little older, so I wouldn't say he's a cornerstone to the franchise. But he's at the very least a cornerstone for the next few years till you find out your next guy at that spot. So, Myles Garrett versus the Browns. So, I was going to get on here and give you guys some possible trade destinations that he could go to if he's serious about the Browns trading him. But as recording this, he re-signed. I don't have the specifics, but he literally re-signed back and ended up getting $123.5 million guaranteed. I'm talking about money heals all wounds when it comes to this. Like, apparently he loved Cleveland now. Like, I think it was a 2-year, $40 million extension. So he got that security. So winning wasn't that important. And that goes to a bigger point. If you're going to do something like this in the NFL, you got to be prepared to stick it out. I don't think he was prepared to stick it out. And he was extremely fickle when it comes to this. Like, extremely, extremely fickle when it comes to this. And I'm just like, wow, I can't believe he went back. Like, they're going to be terrible this year, and he's going to put up Hall of Fame numbers. I don't want to hear him complain. He better not ever complain for these next 4 years until he's out of that deal. I don't want to hear it. You had a chance to do something different to change the market for NFL players, and you decided not to do it. You got a guy on your roster who's there because of that. So, shout out to Myles Garrett. He got his money. So, that's really all I can say. Geno Smith to the Raiders. This is a plus for the Raiders because they get an actual starting caliber quarterback to usher in whatever young guy they perceive is the future. Who knows if they even have a future yet. They didn't suck well enough to get the first pick. I thought it was going to be Dak Prescott that they ended up getting. It ended up being Geno Smith. So, Geno Smith was a better option than Dak Prescott. So, shout out to the Raiders. Now, as far as the Seahawks, again, it goes the other direction. Who are they going to get? Might think about re-picking up Russell Wilson, which would be crazy and a wild end to his career. Excuse me. They thinking about getting Russell Wilson back, and that would just be like storybook, right? But there's nobody there in that building. Well, in the coaching, the head coach is not there. That culture that he set, that Legion of Boom and his team set, it's just not there right now. They're such an up and down team, and Geno had a lot to do with that as well. But Geno was at least steady. You knew what you was going to get from him, whether it was a He was never gonna go. He was never gonna be too bad or too good. He was never gonna be too awful. He was just like right in that 75 to 80 range as far as NFL quarterback. So, shout out to Seattle. It's gonna be interesting to see what Seattle does. I'll keep an eye on Seattle. I probably won't cover them anymore, depending on who's going to be their quarterback. But it's going to be interesting to see what Seattle does moving forward because they've had like almost 20 years of good quarterback play. And so the final thing that we're going to do on this video, the Raiders re-signed Ronnie Stanley. Well, we got a few more bookend things. Let's get to those first. Aaron Donald re-signed with the Vikings. That's good because they're going to have that young quarterback and McCaffrey, and they're going to need a running game to usher him in slowly as he's recovering from that injury. I expect the Vikings to be just as good as they was this year, if not a little bit better, because they have a more talented quarterback at the quarterback position that can do a little more than Sam Darnold could do. At least that's what we think he is going to do coming out, what we thought he was going to do this year coming out the draft. So it remains to be seen. DK Metcalf requested a trade.
So this segment was recorded before DK Metcalf was traded to the Steelers. I don't know what to make of that because we don't know who's going to be the quarterback there. Not good for Baltimore. But we don't know who's going to be the big-time quarterback there yet. So it remains to be seen what this means. So, yeah. Big things happening right now. So we're going to move on to the next segment right now.
One more thing on DK. He has a drop issue. So that's something to be a little leery about, but when you got Calvin Johnson metrics, you kind of just got to go for it, right? And so finally, we get to the Ravens. The Ravens re-signed Ronnie Stanley. He's the best tackle on the market. And they probably had to overpay market value for him. But I remember Shannon saying the best thing about free agency is you're free. And you do what you got to do to keep a guy that's at least decent. Now, would I want somebody better than Ronnie Stanley? Of course, you want somebody better. But he was the best available. And he was already in-house. So you take that. You take that and you figure the rest out later. So shout out to Ronnie Stanley. He got his money. Shout out to Aaron Jones. He got his money. Shout out to Myles Garrett. He got his money. Nick Bolton got his money. Shout out to all the guys that's getting their money. I love to see it. I love to see it. So let me know what you guys think about this week in sports or this week in football. And I'll talk to you guys Wednesday. We'll have another top 10 quarterbacks list coming out. Peace.